Thank you, Michael, and thank you all for the rich conversation and discussion of the moment. So while you all were talking, I was writing, and what has been produced is called, it's entitled Nonplussed. So listen to these words. Confusion is heard in the contemplation of normal. The struggle to reconcile a change from what was, the struggle to imagine that the named normal of the past, which was permeated with injustice, could yield way to life and a new way of living. Normal was a child of patriarchy, a spawn of injustices that manifested as racism, as sexism, as colonialism, as enterprises, as imperialism, as greed, as death, making humans into machines, wounding men and women and children, creating death of mind, body, and spirit to yield wealth and gain, leaving scars and wounds, generational trauma, tyranny and brutality, and infectious oozing spreading as pandemics. Normal was death and more death experienced in these pandemics, amplified by this COVID-19, which has peeled back layers of miscarried justice, exposing the fissures long named and unaccounted for amidst the quest to keep alive a haunting past, sustaining the pandemonium of decaying empires. We weep, hearts broken with grief, tears for those who died alone, tears for those ignored. We rage, prophetic rage, a beautiful defiance embraced as resistance to suppression. We reject the idea of returning to normal. Daring discernment calls forth a reality that means we pluck up, we pull down, we plant, we overthrow, we rebuild, rejecting notions of normal. Why return to normal? Promoting privileges where normal multiplies the marginalized, where normal ignores the least of these, where normal says there is nothing to grieve. This destructive normal itself a pandemic. Who among us is surprised at the rage in the streets, at the resistance worn globally, at the need to push back at the burning bushes, the signs that all is not well, a sign that the divine calls, calling out from a global lockdown, calling for an upheaval to normal. There's a new thing pushing up, a new thing springing out among us, a new language reflecting God talk, holding on to the divine among us. When we cannot mourn, what do we imagine? What do we hear of God in the morning, in the echoes of the screams, in death's silence? We are not alone. What else is there for humanity? The fragility of life is present, defying the idea that any among us are beyond death. We find our way to joy, invited to experience this moment of years where privilege is overthrown. Our unresolved mourning lives as discomfort and resistance. In the midst of our tenuous existence, we grapple with hope and absence of meaning, turning the traumas of death and empire into rituals of healing and resistance, creating new presence, conjuring new identities, welcoming new alliances as we seek resurrection in the witness of the death of normal. Ashe.